Good evening and welcome to another episode of Service to Humanity, a program that brings you stories on activities around the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development as it carries out its mandate of providing social inclusion and protection for the nation's vulnerable. I am your uncle Hafsat Mustafa Hadija. The Knowledge training is ongoing. A few weeks back, we brought you a glimpse of what the Abuja camps looked like. On this episode, Osun State is where we shall beam our searchlight as we look at what trainees are doing and how they feel about the opportunity they have received. We will also bring you the second part of the story we started last week as our crew monitored the Homegrown school feeding program in Kaduna State as we look at the impact of the program in school enrollment and nutrition. All of these after our news segment coming up after this timeout. Please stay tuned.
The Empower program is key to helping young Nigerians acquire and develop.
The federal government of Nigeria remains committed to including and protecting persons with disabilities to guarantee that no one is left behind.
I see that we are going through challenging times, and I see this woman running all about the country trying to help our people, because this lady is doing a very good job for our country.
Thank you.
Thank you for all what you have been doing for us.
First on the program is the Management Diary segment, and there we bring you news from the ministry and its agencies. In our lineup, Kaduna State school feeding program gets a boost with the distribution of utensils, even as the minister urges stakeholders to live up to their promises to support developing countries tackle climate change. Keep watching.
In a bid to strengthen the mechanism put in place for effective implementation of safety net for the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development handed over 300,000 feeding utensils to pupils in primary 1 to 3 in schools benefiting from the program on Monday, 29th November 2021 in Kaduna State. Representing the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, the Deputy Director, Legal of the Ministry, Hajia Maimuna Idris, said the program was introduced by President Muhammadu Buhari's administration to sustain and increase enrollment in primary school and also boost local economy through providing employment for women and enhancement of local agriculture.
This program is one of the 4 social investment programs of the federal government. It aims at giving pupils 1 nutritious meal per day. This is to boost nutrition and of course also to boost economic activities in the state. Yeah, because this food are gotten from farmers, directly from farmers, and then of course then we engage cooks that will cook these meals for pupils. So, you know, all of them are the beneficiaries under this program. The farmers, the pupils first of all, the farmers and the cooks themselves are beneficiaries.
Receiving the feeding utensils for the pupils of LGEA Sheikh Gumi Primary School, Tudunwada, Kaduna South, the NSIP focal person and Deputy Chief of Staff to Kaduna State Government said since the inception of the program, safety measures are being put in place to ensure that meals cooked for pupils are hygienically prepared and meet the required guideline.
To further ensure that the meals are provided in the healthiest manner, the Kaduna State Government through the Primary Health Care Board just concluded a food handlers medical screening for cooks on the school feeding program. The cooks were tested for tuberculosis, hepatitis and typhoid fever. This was done to prevent the cooks from spreading diseases to our pupils in the process of providing meals.
Mr. Umar Abdullahi, the program manager of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, highlighted some of the achievements and statutory backup for the program.
May I use this opportunity to inform you that Kaduna State Government, under the leadership of Malam Nasiru El-Rufai, has ensured consistent training of cooks, among other initiatives, which includes menu standardization, setting up of school gardens, linking of cook cooperatives to farmer cooperatives, the KM4A Mothers for Accountability, medical checkups of cooks, and the introduction of a call center in the Social Investment Office to receive and resolve issues related to SIPs in Kaduna State.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajiya Sadiya Umar Farooq, has urged developed countries on the need to honor the promises made in 2009 of mobilizing $100 billion annually to support climate action in developing countries. The minister, who was one of the panelists at the global launch of the 2022 Humanitarian Overview, gave the charge while speaking on the theme Climate Change and Responding to a More Challenging Humanitarian Landscape. The program was virtually hosted by the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. The minister said she believes the main challenge faced is the global responsibility to address climate change collectively. She added that in Glasgow, developed countries were urged to honor the promises made in 2009 of mobilizing $100 billion per year by 2020 to support climate action in developing countries. She further explained that the government of Nigeria, in partnership with the UN system and other critical stakeholders, created a national humanitarian development peace framework which specifically focuses on enhancing disaster preparedness, prevention, mitigation, and strengthening disaster risk information, governance, and infrastructure. Sadiya Umar Farooq also explained that climate and health-related disasters require both short and long-term thinking and action, local and global perspectives, and the ability of government to work with critical stakeholders to adapt strategies that aid citizens to safely navigate their changing environment. This, the minister noted, is in addition to a national climate change policy and program of action, a national gender climate change action plan, the National Climate Change Youth Innovation Platform, and the National Flood Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan. In conclusion, the minister reiterated that investing in disaster prevention, preparedness, and mitigation mechanisms is crucial to reducing the effects of climate change and in building the resilience of communities.
Across the 6 geopolitical zones.
They should use this money for what it is meant for, judiciously, to take care of their family.
In 36 states and the FCT. Over 6.4 million of Nigerians poorest of the poor in about 1.3 million households receive conditional cash transfers of 5,000 naira monthly under the Household Upliftment Program of the federal government. Their joy knows no bound.
And the government is very well because they did work for us.
It helped me to do any other thing, my family.
Reducing absolute poverty, promoting shared prosperity through the Conditional Cash Transfer Initiative. The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development in service to humanity.
Glad to know you're still with us on the program Service to Humanity. The Empower program is this government's answer to the problem of youth unemployment. The good news is that the program has provision for both graduate and non-graduate trainees. Only recently, the in-camp training under the Knowledge component was flagged off across the country. In our next report, we bring you sight and sound from the Osun camp where beneficiaries from the southwest are being trained.
The Knowledge program under the Empower scheme recently took off across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country and the FCT. 20,000 beneficiaries are expected to acquire relevant skills and certification to become competent workers, innovators, and entrepreneurs prepared for both the domestic and global digital job market. Participants will receive training in software development, hardware maintenance, and training in scripting and animation. Participants from the southwest states are camped in the Osun State College of Education, Ila Orogun new hostel facilities. The beneficiaries say the accommodation is conducive.
My M-Script knowledge. They gave us accommodation, the laptop, and the manual. So we want to appreciate the Mr. President for what he's doing for the Nigerian youth empowerment. We say let God bless him.
Part of the benefits given to participants while in camp include the payment of a monthly 10,000 naira stipend plus transport and feeding allowances. The trainees in Osun camp confirm receipt of their allowances for which they are grateful.
So the allowance that they gave to us, 42,000 naira. I want to use this medium to appreciate our president, His Excellency. May God help him as he continue with this program. I pray God will grant him long life and prosperity. And the ministers that they are all around this program, that God will help them because they are giving life to people, hope to people that they don't even expect.
Empower.
I'm a beneficiary of Empower Software Department. We are grateful to be learning computer software as operators. Everything is moving accordingly. We were taught appropriately and we were given all the learning materials, such as handouts, pen, and other useful items. And we also received computer training. We were given kits, clothes, caps, including feeding allowance. And we were given 10,000 naira monthly allowance.
As in other camps across the country, these trainees, young men and women, physically challenged and even nursing mothers will have the opportunity of learning software development, hardware maintenance, as well as scripting and animation. Some of them speak with gratitude of the opportunity received while talking about their expectations.
I've learned scripting, writing, how to make films. I've benefited in this program. I've had a lot of experience in this program. We have the accommodation, we have the electricity, we have feeding allowance, we have been given materials for the program.
I have the wish to become an engineer. I am grateful for the government's support and items provided for the training we received. That will help us in assisting and making our job easier.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Osibajo.
Glad to have you back. The National Homegrown School Feeding Program has continued to generate more interest, as it has not only increased enrollment rates of primary school pupils and their nutritional and health status, but has also boosted the income of farmers and provided empowerment opportunities for women. In monitoring implementation, we continue with the story we started last week in Kaduna State. But this time around, we visit a school in Kaduna South local government area. Let's see how the story went.
The Homegrown School Feeding Program is one initiative that has been well accepted and implemented in many other parts of the world. This innovative approach links school feeding programs with local smallholder farmers to provide millions of school children in 46 countries with food that is safe, diverse, nutritious, and above all, local. The benefits of this are evident and manifold. The schools provide local farmers with a predictable outlet for their products, leading to a stable income, more investments, and higher productivity. The children enjoy healthy, diversified food. This makes it more likely that they will stay in school, perform better, and improve their adult job prospects. At the community level, homegrown school feeding initiatives promote nutrition education and better eating habits, and encourage the diversification of production with a special emphasis on local crops. Community involvement, in turn, enhances the sustainability of programs. Kaduna State currently has over 700,000 pupils benefiting from the Homegrown School Feeding Program in 3,486 schools in the state. On Wednesdays in Kaduna, pupils are served beans porridge. Fatima Mohammed is a vendor recruited under the program to serve primaries 1 to 3 pupils of LGEA Babandodo Makera Kakuri, located in Kaduna South local government area of Kaduna State. Meals cooked for consumption of the pupils also have to be certified, safe for consumption. Every school day follows the same routine. Only after the food is adjudged, safe and nutritious, will the vendor serve the pupils. That the food benefits the pupils is not in doubt, as the homegrown school feeding team has efficient monitoring system to ensure that the expected objective is achieved.
In testing, it's only the class that is being served. A child from the class that is being served will taste and tells us, not any other child.
For members of staff at LGEA Babandodo, Makera Kakuri, the school feeding program has impacted positively on the lives of the school and the pupils.
I will first of all give kudos to the federal government for the good job they are doing. The school feeding program has a positive impact in the life of the children, because most of them, when they come to school, they come without anything in their stomach. But with this school feeding program, and it enabled them to be able to, face their studies properly. Yes, with this issue of feeding, it attracts children that are outside, that I think don't have interest in school. In fact, it boosts them or make them to come to school so that they will also have share and study from them.
This feeding program is a good one. It enables the children to come to school because they have intention that they are going to eat in the school. So it's a good one. It's a good movement.
Fatima, the school vendor, is also very grateful to the government for the opportunity to earn a living through the school feeding program.
Sincerely speaking, I'm grateful for this program because it has really helped so many people. Not only me and other vendors, but also the pupils, because as soon as the pupils see the food, their attention is shifted to the food, even when classes are still on. Some of the pupils don't usually eat breakfast before coming to school. The joy on their faces is always obvious.
The program is still Service to Humanity, a sponsored program of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. So far on the Homegrown School Feeding Program, we have met the pupils, the food vendors, head and class teachers, and even program managers. In our next segment, you will hear the story from the side of an aggregator in the school feeding program. Don't go away.
Ajia Binta Musa Adamu is the egg aggregator for the Homegrown School Feeding Program in Kaduna State. She is the Chief Executive Officer, Giro Agric Farms, located in Marabanjos, Kaduna. Hajia Binta shares with us her journey and progress so far under the program.
I've been an aggregator since 2017. I started with just 8,000 beds when the program started. In 2018, my farm progressed to 12,000 beds. In 2019, I moved up to 20,000 beds. In 2021, early 2021, because of the pandemic we faced, there's no school feeding program, the market was low, so I have to decongest some of my birds. But now as the school feeding program commences, you can see I've brought in new birds and my farm is moving up. We are targeting 30,000 birds. We started with only 804 pupils at the onset of the school feeding program. That's in April 2017. By January 2018, the enrollment increases and we started feeding pupils 1,064,120 pupils every Thursday. If we translate it into eggs, that means we are feeding 35,000 crates of egg every week.
Ajia Binta Adamu is responsible for supplying eggs to the government primary schools in the 23 local government areas of Kaduna State. She tells us how she coordinates the distribution and supply.
Butter. As an aggregator, I am to mop egg from the 23 local government from all the women cooperatives. Each local government we have women cooperatives which are located in the local government secretariat. We contacted them, they supply us those eggs to each of their unit. And each local government, we have 3 centers, which those women take their eggs to that centers. We have their names. We just pay them into their account through mobile transfer, and they deliver egg to the destination at which we tell them to drop the eggs.
The supervisors stationed at each of the designated egg collation centers collect the eggs every Monday or Tuesday and keeps them in a store provided for that purpose.
The next day is the Wednesday, where all the women move there by 11 o'clock to 12. All of them come to collect their eggs. Each woman will mention her name, and her name will be on the register. Any woman that her name is not in the register, that means she's not been captured. Any woman that is captured, that means she has seen alerts of school feeding money in her account. She will come to such center nearer to her house to collect egg from our distributors. If she's feeding 75 people, she collects 75 pieces of egg. And if she's feeding 100 people, she collects 100 pieces of egg. She signed and put her phone number for.
Hajia Binta shares with us how the Homegrown school feeding program has impacted on her business and that of others alike.
Some of the farmers around my vicinity or in the community, I mop egg from them. Some of them that have 300 or 500 beds in their backyards, now they have moved on to produce up to 100 crates of eggs with a capacity of maybe 1,000 birds. And my business have really increases more than before, because school feeding program pays me cash as you go. In the 23 local government, all the women cooperatives, they are really happy with it, and they give me those eggs to supply to other parts of Kaduna State. Presently, Kaduna State is one of the biggest producer of eggs, because even people in Kano State, people in Nasarawa and part of Abuja, they come into Kaduna to collect egg from us. That really gives us a really high hand in this business. We are making so well in Kaduna State.
Ajia Binta Adamu expresses her profound gratitude to the government for an initiative that has employed parents and given a free meal to their children while at school.
I will commend the government of Baba Buhari for this wonderful initiative that he brings on board. And I think if I say thank you is not enough, thank you is not enough, I will say God bless you, sir. And we pray this school feeding program continue, should be sustained. Even after this government, I pray the school feeding program, the next government will continue it, so that our children can have at least 1 meal a day. At the same time, our children can have that education that we are lacking. Thank you.
That's our package this week on Service to Humanity. Special thanks to the media crew of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs for their contribution towards making this program a success. Until I come your way next week with another episode of the program, stay safe and God bless Nigeria. Thanks for watching.